Hey fellow babies, welcome back to the Pach-Attack. From the forums, I got a question from Trantor. Mr. Pachter, after the less than stellar introduction of Ouya, there's another premise that I don't accept. Do you see any company with a viable plan for the introduction of an Android console or significant Android integration of TVs or other living room devices? You know, I don't think Ouya did bad. I don't think the Ouya guys had grand plans to sell 10 million boxes, and I don't think it's over yet. So I'd give them some time. I think that, you know, they need to establish with consumers that there's a reason to buy the device. I'm embarrassed to say in this FedEx box right here, can I hold it up? Oh. I have a Play Stick. I haven't opened it yet. And no, the reason I haven't opened it is it arrived right during earnings, and earnings in my world means I'm here 16-hour days. So I don't even think about playing games. I mean, I play like free-to-play casual games on the PC. I'm not gonna go plug something on my TV, and I just couldn't deal with it. And it came with instructions. I got an email instructions on how to make it work properly when I hook it up, and I just couldn't deal with it. So I haven't hooked it up yet. Sorry guys, Jasper sent me this. I apologize, Jasper and Brian. I have it, I will hook it up, I promise. I just gotta get through earnings. But you know, there's other devices. You've got this new Vita TV that arguably is that type of device. So people are going to keep trying. I don't know that any of them are really expecting to make a ton of money, but Ouya doesn't need to make very much money. I mean, they don't need to sell, you know, even 1 million to make money. So I think that they will. I don't know that they'll sell 1 million the first week, but they're going to sell 1 million eventually. And so I actually think they're going to make money. So I don't accept the premise that it's less than stellar. I think you probably read other people's expectations, certainly not mine. People are going to keep trying until they get it right. I'm not sure that we need an Android console. I think what we actually need is a box that's like a Roku box, which could be PlayStation TV, that will take any kind of content, whether it comes from any free-to-play site, any mobile site, any, you know, PlayStation Network type indie games, you know, Xbox Live Arcade type indie games. Those games should be offered through a box that's really simple to access. And I think you're going to see that because I think there's a lot of demand for a lot of variety. Okay, from the forums, we got a question from Professor Zoom. These guys, they're obsessed with Japanese content. Recently, a Tekken producer, Katsuhiro Harada, said that PlayStation 5, let's get ahead of ourselves, probably won't be a console, but just a controller and a monitor, maybe something closer to the PS Vita TV, and that he'll be surprised if physical game boxes were still released. Do you agree with him? All right, I wrote an industry report, which is back there somewhere, called the Last Console Cycle. And it was about the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and I actually said I didn't really think that they would be the last console cycle. I said that after them, consoles were going to change, and that the next version, which is what we're getting now, PS4 and Xbox One, were not going to be that much better graphically, because I thought we were pushing the limits at 1080p. Obviously, you can have 4K and 8K, but we don't have displays, so for the next 10 years, no one's going to need it. And so I said the next cycle would be different. It is. I would say that the next one after this, the PS5 cycle, will be different, and I think that's what Mr. Harada is saying. And the question is, will you not have a box? Well, let's think about it, if we're Sony. If you don't have a box, what do you have? Are you streaming from the internet? Are you using your PC? I mean, you're using something, right? So somehow the content has to come from somewhere. So it's going to come from the internet somehow. It's either going to go through your PC or you're going to be able to direct stream with your smart TV. If you do that, do you actually care what format the game is written in? You don't, because it could be Linux, it could be a Steam game, it could be Windows, it could be mobile, you know, it could run on iOS. We don't care. If you don't care, how does Sony make money? Because let's go back to kind of Econ 101 for Sony. Sony makes most of its money in selling you a console and collecting a royalty from third parties for the privilege of putting games in their proprietary PS4 format. So why would there be a PS5 format if we're all indifferent over how it gets delivered? So the answer to the question is, the console makers are intent upon having another console after this cycle. And they're going to try to stick with their proprietary format for at least one cycle too long. I would say that's really what's happening with the Wii U right now. Nintendo's sticking with its proprietary format too long. And if nobody buys the PS5, which I think will be a box, then I think Mr. Harada's right that this is the last cycle and that's how it'll work. I think what instead you're going to see is the PS4 is going to have a hardware upgrade every 2 years, and there's going to be a whole new PS4 coming out, and they're going to try to get you to buy it. And it's not going to be $400, it's going to be $200. And they're going to sell you a box that's got a couple of terabytes of storage, has all sorts of Bluetooth, everything built in, talks to your router instantly without you even doing anything but plug it in, talks to your TV. I mean, that might be 4 iterations from here. Is your cable tuner, does all sorts of other crap, and you're going to buy it. And they're going to hope, just like your television doesn't change that much every year, but you still buy a new one every few years, they're going to hope that you just keep buying PlayStations, and they're going to be the PS4.1 and the PS4.2 and the 4.3, and it's still going to run Sony proprietary software. And you may get more and more games streaming and over the internet, and that's what I think Mr. Harada is talking about, but there will still be packaged goods releases. And again, the key is not single player, because you can play single player streaming online, it works fine, the latency doesn't matter because everything's being delivered to your screen at once. Multiplayer is hard if both people are playing on a server and the entire game content is streaming. There's too much going on, and all you have to do is do the math on speed of light and figure out how many milliseconds it takes if somebody in London is playing with somebody in Los Angeles, and it's a lot. It's 12,000 miles away. Do the 186,000 miles an hour speed of light, and so even if we approach that, you'll have noticeable latency. It'll be a couple tenths of a second or something like that. So do the math and you'll figure it out. But that's the problem. So the more you put onto the client, the more you have in that disk drive or on your hard drive, the less content has to stream, which makes the stream faster, which allows you to play multiplayer. That's it for the physics lesson. I'm waiting for the Kotaku thread on this. Pachter talking physics, he doesn't know shit. I promise you, the only physics course I took was as a senior in high school. I graduated from high school in 1972. Yes, I am that old. And I got an A. That's it. I don't know. Back then, 72, we weren't exactly talking about streaming from the internet. So I've extrapolated what I learned in physics to what I'm saying now. I have no idea if what I said is right, but it sure sounded good, didn't it? Okay, we have a question from Twitter from @CCSGD. Did Nintendo retire the Wii because it outsold the Wii U? Well, they've got the Wii Mini. I don't think the Wii is retired. I mean, it's retired, I think, only in Japan. So, no, I think it's because they've got the Wii Mini, but I don't really know what they do in Japan. Maybe they took account and every single person in Japan who cared had one, so they didn't need to sell anymore. No, they retired it because it wasn't profitable there. I'm sure that's it. It's a business. They're trying to make money. If you have a question for me, you can submit it to the link below. If you'd like to ask me a question on Twitter, send it to @MichaelPachter, copy @GameTrailers, and apply the hashtag AskPack. And we will answer every question we can get to. I will send you a direct message and answer your question directly if you follow me on Twitter @MichaelPachter. Thanks very much for joining us. Go at it, Kotaku. Not Kotaku. I did that again. NeoGaf. I'm gonna get bitched at by Stephen. What's that guy's name? Totillo. Stephen Totillo. He was like, "Why do you bash Kotaku?" I'm so sorry, Stephen. See, I've got Kotaku on the brain because I think of your site always first. NeoGaf. Sorry, not Kotaku. NeoGaf is gonna beat the shit out of me for saying something about physics when I'm not a physician. Is that who does physics? Physician. All right. I gave that to them so they could say, he doesn't even know what a physician is. All right, Villa Babies, if you'd like to check out more episodes, you can do so on YouTube, or we'll save you some time. You can stay on the site, and you can check them out right there.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Few outtakes.
The word of a generation.
It is kind of an odd word, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so stupid. I feel like an idiot every time I use that word.
Dr. Awesome.